Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, everybody in between, whoever you are this evening, hello there, and welcome to another We Are Movie Club Hangout, number 57. God, how time flies. Anyway, good evening, my name is Charlie, and I'm joined by the ever-lovable partner in crime that I seem to have collected.
Wait a minute, 57? Is that for real?
That's the number we've got.
I know the numbers are off because we didn't start doing Hangouts until like February last year. But I didn't think they were off by that much. How did we...
They're about 5 out.
So, hold on. So we're in week 51. So we've got more than... I know we did some Tuesdays. Maybe there's like a special holiday one or two, but I don't know, that's amazing. Maybe the number's just wrong. Either way, we've definitely, at this point, we've done over a year's worth of hashtag WeAreMovieClub.
That is terrifying.
So happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday.
And it's gone through a lot of changes over the past year, but yeah, happy birthday.
It's still here.
Still breathes. No one's killed it with fire yet. I won't even go there. Oh, I didn't. I watched some.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm Kamurai, and that's the wrong hand. I'm a programmer, YouTuber, game designer type guy, and you'll notice I've got some guests with me today.
And they're back.
They're all very sleepy.
They can join the club.
That's all right.
I've got a very long day ahead of me tomorrow, so well.
Well, who are you?
I am the host for the evening. I'm Charlie. I'm a student, agent, person, tea drinker, but also this evening a beer drinker, and yeah, just general fool.
And I learned today that you're not supposed to mix tea and beer.
You can, but you're not going to get any recommendations from me.
I don't know. For anyone who's unaware, I don't drink, and I typically don't drink tea. So I was very confused, and Charlie had to educate me.
Educate him in two things that Englishmen are renowned for.
Renowned? I thought the Irish had a lock on being drunks.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. Anyway, let's drag this back onto course, because 4 minutes in and we've already veered alarmingly off track. We vaguely, every now and then, talk about films that we may or may not have watched, or things that are relevant to films in any small way. And the reason that I'm hosting this tonight is because I got to pick this week. And it was weird that it was one of the few picks I've ever made that you and I seem to agree on.
Well, it started that way.
But yeah, no, we agreed.
I'll be honest. Do we want to go ahead and talk about I Am Number 4 first?
Yeah, let's jump straight in.
Yay! We'll circle to the other stuff. So this is one that you hadn't seen and I had seen, and can we say that's pretty typical?
That's par for the course, yeah.
Yeah. So I remembered really liking this and being like, oh yeah, it was a good movie. It was lots of fun. Like, I really enjoyed it, and I know I recognized people from it, so I thought I was gonna come back in and be all like, yeah, I like these people. I like what they're doing. Cool action sci-fi movie, and it's fucking snooze fest. That's the short version, anyways.
Oh no.
It's not that it was a bad movie in any regard. It was. I think it actually still held up on my scale, but I was just like, why do I care? Why? Movie must not take nap. And the alien, and I don't know why it bothered me so much this time. I think it's because when you watch for a review, sometimes you ruin it for yourself, or I do. And I couldn't get over the aliens either. I was like, how many nostrils do you need? But I think what we can agree on, not to put words in your mouth, is that it had a lot of good action.
Yes.
It looked good special effect wise.
Yes.
It had a fair bit of drama as well to keep it from being just an action movie. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, there was a review I saw of it that said it was very much a film of two halves, as in the first half was a bit slower, there wasn't as much action to it, but then it seriously picked up in the second half, which I think is a fair way of putting it.
Well, okay, so yeah, okay, I could see that. I'd say like so the beginning's all about his dramatic adjustment to life on Earth,
Mm.
like to who he is and what he has to be, and
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
struggling for agency. So okay, and then by the end of it, we actually run into bad guys, and then we go into an agency about who he has to be to stay alive. Would
But
you agree?
it's well, yeah, it's an interesting one. He knows what he has to do to stay alive, and then frankly does not do it.
What do
Like,
you mean?
you need to keep your head down. Joins a school. You need to just, be inconspicuous. Ultimately, gets on the wrong side of the school jock and gets involved with his ex-girlfriend.
Well, no. Okay, now in fairness, that's the first half of the movie. That's like this is your life on Earth. Like this is what you have to be so that we can get you to where you need to be, so that everyone who died for you is not in vain. Like that's the dramatic part in the beginning. What I'm talking about when I mention that second bit is after they've already found him, because it was inevitable. They were eventually going to find him.
Hmm.
Um, Now he has to be this fucking superhero and just survive. Like he
Yeah, that's
literally
true.
has to fight for his life.
Yeah, he definitely grows into it as the film goes on, I would say.
Um, and personally, I think the beginning part could have been a lot shorter. I think that's where my hangup is.
I think what they could have done is almost halve that first section and then give more time towards the end for oh, what am I saying? To have the other numbers introduced, because you get six, but that's, what about 5, 7, 8, and 9?
Well, and yeah, and that's the weird thing is that the aliens were killing them in order, like they were that methodical about it,
The OCD aliens.
which they obviously weren't. They were really compulsive. Um, and what was I gonna say though? The I wouldn't even like do more action. I wouldn't even do that in the beginning, and then maybe put a little bit of exposition and exploration on the end, and then maybe in the movie when they find number 5.
Yeah, you could have done that, but I think the problem I had was that Henry says you need to find the others. You work better as a group, and there's only 40 minutes of the film left. Well, you've already made it obvious that he's not going to find them all because there's not enough time left.
Well, okay, and that's one thing. It's like most people don't look at the time. If you're looking at the time, how much time is left, the movie's doing something wrong.
Whoops.
Well, I mean, again, we're watching it for review, so you don't get the same experience out of it. But if at that point, like I would actually have had hope, be like, okay, so they're gonna run away from these aliens. They're gonna go looking for the other guys to try to help build a squad against the bad aliens, and they're gonna get away. I honestly did not expect when I first watched this that they would fight the bad guys and win even. Because you're kind of at the point, well, who are they still running from?
Hmm.
You have to remind yourself there's a whole planet worth of these assholes out there.
And they were pretty badass. So can you imagine how if more of them had arrived?
Well, they were vicious and they were kind of stupid, to be honest with you. But they had technology and they had ill intent. I think that's all you really need to be a bad guy.
That technology they had, like the ball with like loads of spinning blades in it, that was horrible.
Yeah, what is the purpose of that? It's just a torture device, and more than
That's
likely it's going to kill you.
that's being a sadomasochistic bastard. That's what that is.
And just think of the situation in which you'd have to use that. You'd have to take somebody alive, or at least defeat them so that they're prone on the ground, and then force it in their mouth and keep their mouth shut. Like, what the fuck? Really? I don't know. I just think like once you hit the point where like you've got space travel, you're either going to be a lot more efficient when you're killing and torturing, or like you're not going to bother.
And I'm going to end that part of the discussion by saying there's probably other places you could end up putting that thing, but overall, though, I didn't think it was that bad a pick.
See, now you just got me thinking about like what space sex toys would be like. But like, what's a butt plug on an alien world? Um,
Oh dear.
Does it come in foxtail variety? Okay. Well, I want to keep talking about item number 4, but did we run it out already? Is that all there is to talk about with it?
No, if you've got more, go on.
No, I want to. I'm just saying I don't know if I have anything else. Like, okay, like one of the things I did want to ask you is, do you think this movie deserved a sequel?
Yes.
So you definitely would have, maybe not gone to the theaters, but you would have watched it on disc, one way or the other?
Yeah, I would have done. I think there were definitely, having looked on Wikipedia, which is where I do all of my research because I'm an accurate student, is that there were plans for a sequel and it just never really happened. So.
Oh, well, because it's a series of books, isn't it?
Apparently so, yeah. Which again I didn't know, which makes sense now you think about it. But
well, you have to remember that Hollywood doesn't have any original ideas anymore. They just look for other things to rehash, and then they ruin them.
That is true. But yeah, I think you could have, because you could have carried that on as a 3, trying to find the others, meeting up with others, going back to the original place. You could have had, there's plenty that you could make a second film from.
Yeah, even if they never found anybody, just them searching. Like, you could do a whole TV series on this. That actually wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, you could have put it to TV instead.
Yeah, them looking, they're investigating like supernatural reports. And number 6 was actually good at it. She was tracking number 4 all over the place. So they would actually, like, you'd have this thing where they're investigating different things and sites, and probably Sam, the kid, the nerdy kid, probably would have contacts with a couple different people.
You can imagine that kind of thing, can't you?
Yeah, so, and then, like, I guess the girl from Glee would be, like, doing world photography and maybe get freelance journalism.
Is that where she's from?
Yeah, she was the pregnant cheerleader on Glee.
Fair enough, because I knew she definitely looked familiar from somewhere, and I looked her up, but
now, she's done movies.
Yeah, so nothing in her credits seemed to really ring a bell, though, even though she definitely looked familiar.
And she's a good actress, don't get me wrong. I really like most of the cast from Glee. They do a pretty good job. It's just, I think that's where she's most iconic. Oh, Gossip Girl. I was trying to figure out what that icon was. I'm like, but where's she at? How is she not in like the top 10? Heather Morris is there. Jamie Mays. So she's right below Diana Agron. That's who we're talking about. She's right below Jamie May on the IMDb, which is interesting because I thought she had a much more prominent role in Glee. At least she used to. Maybe not now that they're in college. Well, Glee just took a weird turn around season 4. And I got upset enough that I think it's the first media review I ever did where it was out of order, where I didn't start at the beginning and go forward. So I have a Glee season 4 review on my channel.
Oh dear.
She was in Burlesque. Like, I knew she had done stuff before. Oh, she was in Heroes. What season, though? I don't even know. Wow. Veronica Mars? Jeez. She must have been younger for that one. Oh, no, it was only it was the same year before in the same year of Heroes. Wow. How old is she? 1986. So she's 3 years younger than me. Wow. Wow. I would not have guessed that.
I don't know
Oh.
whether that says more about you or her.
I Am Number 4 was actually 2011. I didn't even realize.
Hmm.
Oh, Glee started before then, and then it's still going. So let's see. So 3 years ago, so she was 25 when she started Glee. Shit, that girl holds up really well. I think the guy who died, the football player guy, I think he was a lot older too.
Mm.
Like they're all 20 something, but I think most of the rest of them were closer to 20 than 30. So Corey Monteith, that's who I'm talking about. He played Finn. God, now I want to go and look up how old everybody is. I'm gonna stop though. I can do that later. Are we moving on, or do we have more things? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have anything about I Am Number 4?
No, do you think it needs a sequel, or do you think it's okay as is?
I think it deserves a sequel, but it deserves a better first movie. Now that we mentioned the TV series, that's what I want.
Mm.
But I think it deserves a prequel movie where like they lose the planet, and they get the babies off to Earth. And I think it deserves several more movies to include the intergalactic stuff with the bad guys, or the interplanetary stuff rather. So, like either way, I think this is a story that deserves it. But that leads me into my other question. How'd you feel about the characters? Like, did you like them? Did you care?
I thought they were okay. I thought there was, a fair amount in there for you to latch onto, if that makes sense. They weren't terrible. I didn't think. One comparison I made to the characters in one sense was back to Odd Thomas. Insofar as there's the guy trying to handle being supernatural and handle young love at the same time.
I just didn't care. Especially, he was like I think the primary problem. If I cared about him, I think I would have liked the movie a lot more.
Mm.
But like I didn't relate to him. I didn't care. I was just like, oh, it sucks that you're a cool surfer dude that has superpowers. And then like you get, I feel bad saying it like that. But you get a cool girl like her. Like it's not even that she's like a true 100% nerd. She was like a popular chick that picked a nerd hobby and then was outcasted.
Mm.
So like I don't know, it's just there's very little like to sympathize, and that was like key in understanding like his drama, which was half the movie.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And I'm not saying I'm unsympathetic like in general, but like especially with movies, you got to make me care a little bit. It's part of the job of the people who make the movie.
Make me care, man.
So yeah, yeah, I think I'm tapped. I don't think I got anything else on this one.
Okay then. Let's move on then to what we have been watching this week, which for me is pretty much nothing because I've been working all week, but do feel free to jump in. You
and your life.
Having a life.
I was gonna watch Instructions Not Included, but it was subtitled, and I was like, oh, I want to rewatch Old Boy, and I haven't done that. I'll probably do that tonight. Because that's gonna be our pick next week is Old Boy. It's my pick, right? Isn't that what we're doing? I got it wrong last time, so I want to make sure. I got my pick wrong. So like that is subtitled, so I want to sit down and pay attention to that as best I can. But I did watch Double last night. Like I was trying to edit my How to Play Guillotine video, which is now up on Gaming Division. Um, and I was like doing the card overlays last night. So I didn't go to gaming. I just wasn't feeling it, and I watched Double, and I just got so depressed. You're aware of Fight Club, right?
I'm aware of such films, and I've been told on a number of occasions that I need to watch it.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen after I run out of my current list of picks is I'm going to pick movies like Fight Club and like things that like you should have watched, and I'm going to make you watch them.
Okay.
And then I might throw in some of my favorites in there. I may do that first, like Moulin Rouge. We did Nightmare, Bridge to Terabithia. Sorry, now I'm just fantasizing out loud. But Double, it's the Double. It's Jesse Eisenberg. And who is the other chick? Is it Mia? I don't like how he gets his name in there, and then the lead chick does not have her name in the Netflix description. That bothers me. I'm not going to sit here and yell Gamergate and like super feminism, whatever, but things like that do bother me when I see it. Yeah, and it's a Mia Wasikowska. So she deserves her name in the fucking description. She was the lead in Alice in Wonderland.
Ah, right, okay.
She did such a good job with that role. Won me over as a fan right there, but she does a good job in this too. Similar to other movies, The Double is all about this guy who he doesn't feel confident about himself. He works hard. He's very quiet. He's not very social. He doesn't stand out to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's on the subway. Like he takes the tube into work, and like his briefcase gets caught in the door because everyone else is being assholes about getting on and off the train, and they won't let him off. So he rushes to get off, and the door catches his case. His handle breaks, so he can't get it out, and it drives away with his case. Well, that leads into him not having one of his IDs. The security guard stops him. He's like, I see you every day. You know who I am. Just let me through. He's like, I don't work weekends. You must show me your ID. And so he shows him one ID, and he's like, I need the other ID too. I don't know why. He needs two IDs. But he's like, oh, I got stolen. So he has to sign in as a guest, and that happens like for like quite a few days. And then eventually, like a series of weird things happen to him where like they end up cutting up his primary ID. So he can't prove that he works there. And then somebody tells him like he doesn't exist. Like he's not in the system. And then another guy shows up at work as the new guy, and it's him. It's his face. So Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah, he plays two characters, and the new guy's a very like confident version of him with his last and first name reversed. So they become friends, and they start helping each other out a little bit. Though confident guy obviously is there to help himself first. So all these things happen, like they start taking each other's places. Confident guy starts blaming the unconfident guy for things, taking credit for unconfident guy's work. The boss thinks he renames the first guy Stanley, which if you've played the Stanley Parable is fantastic. So I don't want to spoil the twist because it is kind of awesome, but it's all about him facing up to be more like the other guy, be more confident, more assertive in his life, and take control of things. And there are some very ample confrontations and dealing with suicide even. Like there are parts where people decide like, oh, I don't want to live anymore. I can't believe this or that, and he's struggling to deal with that and losing people and trying to get the girl all at the same time. So it's really the full gambit on like trying to make something of himself. So it's got some like, sorry, go ahead.
It sounds so strange that I might actually want to watch that.
Yeah, I think you would definitely like. This is one I would put on the list of movies for us to watch, and it's on US instant watch right now. That
Okay.
helps you out at all. Because
I
I
tell you what,
know.
I have just looked on Netflix for Old Boy, and it's been recommended to me at 4.9 stars based on my interest in battle royale. So I'm like, yep, okay.
Yeah. Um,
Already, I'm happy with that.
if I remember right, and I probably am not, I think it's the same people.
I think no, that sounds. Looking at the credits, it sounds Korean
It is
rather
Korean.
than.
It is. Oh no, yeah, Battle Royale's Japanese.
Mm.
Sorry,
And
I'm
then
not
I'm
insensitive.
and then I'm looking at your next, and it's really not. It thinks I'm only gonna like it 2.2 stars.
Well, thanks for giving the cat away. Um, no, uh, eh, I I think you'll get a kick out of it because it's not a horror movie like horror movies. It's a slasher movie.
It does look a bit like a slasher.
But it's got some nice twists and interest in there. Um, I need to start making a list right now because, like, I think I got my favorites: Stoker, The Double. There's those movies I'd recommended to you before. I think that's what I need to do. I need to start making a Charlie needs to watch this list, and that's where I'm gonna pick my movies uh, from here out. Yeah,
Yeah, fine.
it's one way to get my way. Unfortunately, I haven't watched a lot of movies this week. I've been busy and active with things, and tired. I think I'm getting sick again because of the weather. Oh, where's my ginger? So I've been watching TV. So I caught up on Family Guy.
Oh, how's that going?
Um, that took an interesting turn because what really got my attention with it was the crossover, the Family Guy Simpsons crossover.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. How's that gone?
It was really weird, and the most interesting part is how they handled the skin color
Right.
thing. Because like people in The Simpsons are yellow, the whole world's like that. So I don't understand how this works. But so Homer thinks Peter's an albino, and Peter thinks Homer's got jaundice or hepatitis. Yeah, he's like, looks like everybody here has hepatitis, which gives you jaundice.
Mm.
So it was very interesting to see that, but probably still in like some of the least interesting stuff I've been watching. I caught up on New Girl, Zoe Deschanel's show.
I need to catch up on that. I really do.
There are some fucking amazing lines in that show, and there's other lines that just make you fucking cringe. You're like, oh, why? Why, girl?
That's typical Zoe Deschanel, though. She's sort of very bit of both.
Oh, yeah, she's brilliant. I mean, like, that and Two Broke Girls are, like, just lead material for, like, pro-women shows. Like, because I know she's got a heavy hand in everything, and the other show is Whitney Cummings. That's her baby. But let's see, Modern Family, Once Upon a Time, A to Z. I'm still mad that it got canceled.
What have you been watching this week so I can look on and see if it's been cancelled? Has Family Guy been cancelled?
A to Z and Selfie are the only ones that I'm aware of. I did what I've been keeping up with Christella though. I think that's going to do really well. It's not the funniest show in the world, but it's still pretty damn good. Arrow's very interesting. I know that one will get canceled, but I am kind of worried for The Flash. I'll be honest. It's not top shelf. It's good, but it needs to be better.
Yeah, but it's comic book related, so you know it'll stay.
It'll stay in one capacity or the other. They may reboot it, but The Middle. My grandma watches The Middle, and so I started watching it. And it reminds me a lot of Modern Family, but like poorer.
Okay.
Because Modern Family is about like middle to upper class people, and I'm sorry, yeah, Modern Family, and The Middle is about like lower class, like almost impoverished to lower middle class. So like they could live in the same state. Well, they don't, but they could live in like the same area on different parts of the city, and I would totally understand it. But it's interesting, like the commentary that puts out in to the people. So let's see. Marry Me. I ran across this show a couple times. It's like all the actors that like you recognize when they come on and they play like good supporting characters, but you never thought they'd get their own show.
It's one of those, is it?
Yeah. So it's like they took not the bottom, but like a good part of the middle, and they gave them their own show. I'm sorry, the middle of the barrel, and they gave them their own show to see how it would do, and I think it's okay. But I'm not compelled to keep watching it either. So good luck to them. Oh, they canceled Mom. I think they canceled Mom. I watched that last year. That was the Anna Faris show.
Yeah. I think I heard about that, but I definitely haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's almost like a show for alcoholics. Oh, it's still on the list. Maybe it's not canceled.
It's a show for alcoholics, and you didn't watch it? Are you sure?
Well, no. Like she and her mom are both former alcoholics, so they're in AA. So that's part of the show. They go to these meetings and they're dealing with this as well as trying to raise Anna Faris's kids. And then part of the big part of the first season is that her kid is pregnant as well. So
right.
Now in the show, there's a grandma, mom, and daughter with a kid, 4 generations all in the same house. And then the second mom also has a boy who she's separated from the dad because he's a homeless drug dealer or something.
Right.
And then her dad, the grandma's ex-husband, they went and found him so that she could meet her dad finally. And then it turns out like he had a whole other family, and then because he wanted to get involved with her to be a dad to her again or ever, like that ended up causing problems with his other family, and now he's like separated and back with them. So that was a lot in such a short few sentences.
That is a lot. That is a lot to get my head around.
Yeah, but they are apparently got 2 episodes out on CBS that I will be watching tonight. I like CBS. They've got good shows. The Millers. I'll be honest. I paid attention to that mostly because Jamie May was on the show.
There's some CBS channel that we get over here. It's like in the real depths of the TV guide. But every time I seem to flick past it, it's only got NCIS on it.
Well, the thing with NCIS is that there's 1, 2, 3 current shows.
Right.
NCIS, and they're hour-long murder mystery dramas, and there's a lot of them. So if they're running reruns, and then the other shows that aren't on anymore,
wouldn't help.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. But if you dig through it, there is some good things. Like Scorpion Scorpion looks like your kind of show. It's very secret agent-y.
Yeah, you know me well.
Yeah, I've been liking Under the Dome. I caught up on that. I don't know if I ever mentioned it on here, but I watched like the second season or whatever. I need to see if there's any current episodes going on with this. Yeah, I think it's like most of my watching is going to be in serialized content until I miss a couple episodes. Because once I can't watch it in order, I stop watching it until it comes out on season.
Yeah, until you can find a way of catching up.
Yeah, I can't just miss an episode and keep watching the show. I've never had a show where I can do that. Now, if like back when I was younger and like they were just showing whatever, like that was what was on, so I'd watch. But Since I learned how media works and everything, it's like, no, we need to watch the story in order. It's how it makes sense. It's the best way to deal with it.
Yeah, I get very much like that, where I insist on watching something in order, however far back, like behind I end up. I have to watch it in order, otherwise I will feel like well, I don't know, either way it just feels wrong if I don't, let's put it that way.
Well, and if a show is written well, then that episode is important because every scene, every thing that they bother to write is supposed to be part of the character's experience. You're supposed to write that into who you think the character is. So if we miss the scene where Tammy kisses her brother, like, and then you go to the next scene and like nobody's talking about this thing, and you're like, what's happening? What's going on? Like,
Yeah, you kind of lose it.
yeah, I don't know who Tammy is or why she'd want to kiss her brother, but oh man.
But yeah, I'm definitely like that. You miss a couple of episodes and then it's just like a slippery slope.
Yep. Oh man. It's like I'm like that with games too. I hate it, but like The Witcher, for instance. I think they're on game 3 now. If I were to want to go play The Witcher, like I'd have to start at the beginning and try the other games at least. And if I go, oh, Witcher 1 shit, which I don't think it is, let me try the second game, see if this one's any better. I've got 1 or 2 games on Steam like that.
Yeah, I don't tend to get that because I'm very, if they're a particular series, I tend to be able to keep up with them, but that's only because I have so few series, Pokemon being probably the only one.
And I'm not laughing that like that's a bad show to keep up with. I'm laughing because like I can't. I know what the first episode is. I know the first like maybe 10, but after that I couldn't tell you if I was watching them out of order.
Admittedly, I'm quite a few seasons behind now, but I will get there eventually.
Have fun with that. That sounds like a good time. I enjoy serialized content. I enjoy epic level stuff better. It does annoy some of my gaming friends because like I'm sorry, I keep bringing up games. It's just part of my life. But like if I find a game I like, I try to find all the components of it, and then I want to play a big epic level game of it. But that takes more time than a lot of people are used to.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas media is the same way. Like if I find something I like, oh, I want more of it. Oh, there's a mini series. Let me check that out. Let me see how it incorporates into the larger universe. I think it's the same way. It's harder to get other people to watch a series that you're into, especially like giant ass anime, because looking at 11 seasons of Bleach, and they're probably got like 14 now, that's intimidating. Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that.
I personally think you would love Naruto, but I think on Hulu now, and the dub versions are way behind, but I think the subtitle versions are 2 seasons of Naruto, then Shippuden is got like 300 episodes.
I did try Naruto, and I got through the first few episodes, but again, it was just something I then put down and haven't picked back up again since.
Was that the original series, or did you get to Shippuden?
I think I started at the very beginning, so I don't even know that.
They're very different shows. Naruto looks like it's made for kids, and then when I think they self-realized it because it's 2 seasons, and then by the time they got to it, they're like, we've got to take the gloves off. How do we make that clear? And so they renamed it Naruto Shippuden, or Shippuden, whatever it is. And the gloves come off, and they start killing people, like permanent dead, killing people, blood and stuff. And that's where I think, like Shippuden on, is where you'd get into it.
Yeah, probably.
Because the first stuff is very super juvenile, so I think you'd enjoy it, but I don't think you'd be very committed to it. And then once they get into Shippuden, like they have that same kind of feeling in a more serious. I'm sorry, you have those same types of characters in a more serious setting, so they tend to have to like grow up a little bit, but Naruto's super lighthearted, even all the way up to like the big war that starts.
Hmm.
That's not a spoiler. That's a major event that people would be talking about. If you like Googled Naruto, like the latest, that's I want to say they're still in the war. Even though I don't know about Crunchyroll, but like Hulu, I think is still towards the beginning of it.
Yeah, I feel if I got invested in Crunchyroll, I would never come out again.
And that's what turns people off from anime, I think, a lot, because it's not just a show you watch. There's a cultural lifestyle incorporated into it, and people get scared the fuck off by that. But I don't know. I'm a casual anime fan. But if you look at like guys like Brooks and Neil, like you're lucky if they've watched a movie from America or the UK in the past year, because they're like, well, why would I watch that when there's all this anime I could watch?
Yeah, I think I've got that sort of habit of like I said, just wanting to be. If I get involved in something, I want to be involved 100%. I want to know everything about it. I want to be involved in it. If I dived into a particular anime, I fear even something like Sword Art Online, I would just sort of dive in, and I don't know when I'd come back up for air.
You have no idea how badly I'd want to make you watch that through this, but it just doesn't work. I won't do that. It's just so good, and they just finished up what I would consider to be a season in Sword Art Online 2. Is the first season. The first season is when they're in Gunblade, where it's all the shooting game, and there's somebody killing people like in the real world. Like he'll go into the game, shoot them with this special pistol, and then they apparently die in real life. But the second season or story arc is super lighthearted compared to everything, and it's fantastic. Because up until this point, like you're constantly dealing with someone being threatened in real life, and in this time they're actually exploring the digital world. There's actual AI that are free-willed, and the only reason I know this is because they have one on their side. From the original game, there was an AI that was determined obsolete but not deleted, so she just kind of wandered, and then the main characters kind of adopted her as a daughter.
Right. Okay.
So now that so much has happened, she's now turned into a navigation pixie, so she flies around and gives them advice about the game.
You make it sound like the Nymph and Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, she's basically Navi, but possibly more adorable. Yeah, she's not
adorable. He means less annoying.
Well, and because she's constantly going, "Daddy, Mommy," like in the same kind of vein of like, "Hey, listen." But like they showed her like her actually giving like battle stats during combat, and I was really impressed because they hadn't shown her like that before. But they're fighting like this Nordic god type guy, or it's the Frost Giant King. I can't remember his name because they're trying to save Jotunheim. And the warrior sorceress or whatever that's with them ends up being Thor in disguise. So like they find Mjolnir and in the treasure room, they give it to her, and she transforms into Thor, who ends up like being just as big and start fighting. It's really weird to see them incorporate Asgard and Jotunheim and Niflheim. Yeah, that's the other one. But like it was a really cool story arc, and the whole point of not the whole point, but the whole thing that got them on this journey was that they wanted to get Excalibur. And they saw it once, and then they started getting like clues from the sentient AI about how to get it, and so that was the reward for the mission, was that the main character's Kirito ended up getting Excalibur, and the samurai of all people ended up with Mjolnir. Or a copy of Mjolnir. Mew Mew. you saw Thor, right?
No, I haven't got that far.
Oh dear. Maybe that's what
Come
we
on,
should do. And just
come
get you through
on,
the
stop,
fucking
stop
Marvel
believing,
universe.
stop believing that I've watched films.
I know, and it makes that to watch list a nightmare to write.
Well, you're 90% sure that if you put something on that list, I won't have already seen it. So there's going to be very few that you need to cross off.
Well, see, and that's the other thing. If we do the Marvel universe, like, should we just do all of them, even though you've seen a couple of them?
I don't know, because I've actually reviewed Iron Man already on my channel. So if you feel like going back to watching that, find it. And I've watched Hulk, but I never did a review for it.
Which Hulk? The Edward Norton one?
Yeah.
Okay. It's that's one of the weirder ones placed chronologically in the universe because it is a sequel to the first one that they want to pretend didn't happen.
Yeah, even though I didn't think that. Well, actually, no, I didn't see the original one, but the was it 2008, 2009? That Edward Norton one isn't too bad.
No, it's good. Edward Norton was a decent Bruce Banner. He's not Mark Ruffalo. I think Mark Ruffalo is perfect. That's my Hulk. When I think of Hulk now, that's who I think of. Okay, so here's something. I didn't write any topics or anything for today, but I've mentioned this a couple times, and I think it probably rightfully so been ignored. But Danny Danger over on Weird Girls has kind of been promoting like colorization of characters, because if you look at the Marvel, or maybe not just Marvel, but you look at the comic book universe, there's a lot of like really white guys, and not a lot of diversity. Would you agree?
To tell you the truth, I hadn't even really thought about that, so I don't know.
Well, like you got Tony Stark, like just looking at like Tony Stark, Thor, Captain America,
Yeah.
and even Bruce Banner, like all kind of now upper class white guys. And if you put the original Nick Fury in there as well, he would be the same way. So Samuel L. Jackson is actually a character that's been colorized. And like he's a good Nick Fury. I'm not saying he's not. But like if you look at Nick Fury as a character back then, he's a kind of an upper class stuffy white guy that's been through the lifestyles of that character. Like I look at Nick Fury or Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury, and I don't know what he's done like with his life before the movie started. Like I lose all that backstory. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'd agree with you there.
So that's where I'm coming from. Like when I say like I don't like it when you reboot a character. I'd much rather you just take a good character like Luke Cage, who is an African American character. He lives in Harlem, and his special power or his power set is that he's got indestructible skin. So he can't be cut. So he puts himself as a hero for hire, and because he can't be cut, he can punch things like brick walls and not hurt himself.
I think rebooting a character is always dangerous.
What?
You're talking about rebooting of characters?
Yes. So you think it's dangerous? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I think you have to be. Well, I was about to say you have to be very careful with how you do it, because we're never going to please everyone even.
No, true.
Hopefully you'll please somebody, but you've got to be careful how much you tread on the toes, or how far you tread on the legacy that the original has left, or the ones before it have left.
Well, you're true, but like because it's a movie universe, they have some leniency which they've used. Samuel L. Jackson, prime example. So like Danny was calling for like. I think her point was that there should be more Asian characters, because like they're finally doing like God, I want to call it the Miss Marvel movie, Captain Marvel movie for Carol Danvers, which it should have been up as Miss Marvel. That's who we should have had up. But so they're starting to get women more incorporated, which is good. They've been doing black apparently, and then but there's a severe lack of Asians in the comic book world. So I think it's just the call to arms. Like now, that's the next step. Like let's start getting some of them in, because most of the Asian people in comics they're not drawn real Asian. I think specifically to not be racist, but like they're either in the Yakuza, they're part of Hydra, the Hand, or like maybe the Chinese government's hiding them.
Well, how would you incorporate them in, though? Are you talking about introducing new characters or rebooting?
Well, she was talking about colorizing existing characters like Doctor Strange and Iron Fist, who fucking is like an Aryan poster boy, even if he's supposed to be 1/4 Asian. Which I think that was a really, really weird thing for them to do in the comics, even. I think the expectation would be that he would be an Asian guy with some martial art background instead of like a rich white guy that learned martial arts, because it's almost like he's another spoof on Batman.
Rich white guy that taught himself martial arts. That sounds so like Vladimir Putin.
Well, somebody taught him because they had to teach him how to use the Iron Fist. Which I don't know. So like the same way like there's only a couple like handicapped superheroes too. There needs I'm all for diversity. I'm all for more heroes, more characters. I'm all for killing some of these fucking white guys. That's fine. But don't reboot them just to colorize them, because to me that's not being racially sensitive. That's being like, well, he's never gonna make it on his own. We better give him a white guy's name.
So they just rebooted Captain America.
Well, see, and that's the thing is, I don't care if you call him Captain America. Like he's still the Falcon. Like that's the character, but now he's got like this freaking weird honorary title of Captain America, which I don't like. Just have him wear the stars and stripes. Have that be the Captain American version of the Falcon uniform. Sure.
Yeah, just change his appearance rather than the name.
Now, I've never followed up on this. Do you know if he gained the super serum?
I don't, but carry on as though I do.
Okay. Well, that's the thing. It makes a difference in the story. If he got the super serum into his body, and he is Captain America, new Captain America, because there was in the story Isaiah Bradley was the first Captain America. He was a black Captain America, but they were completely different characters, and it was like a thing hidden away in the world, so I was super happy to get that in there, because they're obviously separate people, and he's no longer Captain America. Patriot is Isaiah Bradley's grandson, who ended up taking mutant growth hormone to become a super soldier. And then they did something weird where Isaiah Bradley gave him a blood transfusion and made Patriot a real super soldier.
Okay.
So there is a young black Captain America called Patriot. That's his call sign. But it's just it's not only is it confusing. They've never done this before, by the way. Comics has done a lot of bullshit, but they've never just been like, you know what, give him the other guy's name. But they I think it started out with Young Avengers. Kate Bishop. I was really hoping she was going to take Mockingbird, but they had exposition in the comic about how she didn't know what to call herself. Because she doesn't have superpowers. Like the other guys did. She was all skill. So she was using a sword like Mockingbird, I think is what her name was, and then she was using a bow and arrow like Hawkeye, and Hawkeye had just died. So I think in honor of Hawkeye, she named herself Hawkeye. But it turns out Hawkeye wasn't fucking dead. He was hiding. because everyone thought he was dead. So he's like, well, I guess this frees me up. Um, because he learned that the Scarlet Witch killed him. And then somehow he came back, which is, I read the comics, it's still unclear. But now they're back. He's back in action with Hawkeye. So it's Hawkeye, and I fucking hate that. If she had done Mockingbird, at least that's a character that is gone. So that she could be the new Mockingbird. Now, I say that, and I still don't know anything like that solution, but at least that would be better than what's currently happening. Because that solution is exactly what's happened with Miss Marvel. Or Binary, or Warbird. Carol Danvers has a bunch of names. She officially took over the title of Captain Marvel, or Marvel. Maybe that's the difference. Is that because she originally named herself Miss Marvel after Captain Marvel. But he officially died, and I don't know what happened in the comics, but she changed her call sign over from Miss Marvel to Captain Marvel. And to me, Miss Marvel was very touching, and she was worthy enough on her own. She didn't need a guy's name to be famous or to carry her own weight. Sorry, I'm really going on about comics right now. But that leads us into the movie where she's actually named Captain Marvel, and I have a feeling that Marvel did that on purpose. They renamed her specifically in the comics so that they could get her on screen without putting Miss in the title. And then she takes a famous guy's name for a call sign to make herself more legitimate. I thought we were past those days.
Clearly not.
So, who knows if we'll get a She-Hulk or Spider-Woman movie.
Seriously think that'll happen?
At this point, I'm doubting it. She-Hulk would have been the perfect reason to bring out the Hulkbuster armor this early. Because it's like, well, we have two of these things. We've got to be able to deal with it. We have to have fallback or contingency plans. Which I'm sure is what's happening with it in the new movie. It's too early to have him freak out on everybody and then try to deal with them. And I'm afraid they're going to send him to space. What was I going to say? And then there's the whole thing, we already mentioned Captain America, and then I don't know how to say that. Feminizing Thor? I
can't come up with a decent pun for that, so yeah, we'll just go with it.
I mean, the only thing that came to mind was vagicizing, and that's horrible. I'm not even committing to that one. But even Beta Ray Bill, to me, that was Beta Ray Bill. That wasn't Thor. There have been different Thors, but they weren't Thor. They were this guy with the power of Thor. And you know what? I really wish my comics were more accessible. There is a female, I don't think she's an Asgardian, but she dresses like one in, not Young Avengers, in the Initiative. And I think she would have been a great candidate to get the power of Thor. But she still would have been whatever her call sign was with Mjolnir. I wouldn't have renamed the comic Thor. Because to me, Thor is the Odin son. That's who Thor is, because even if you take his fucking hammer away, his name's still Thor.
Yeah.
So to me, that makes that weird, and I think this is all part of a goal to work towards the movies, and we'll be able to see it probably by the time Civil War hits, whether or not they're going to pull that trigger with Falcon and Captain America. And after Ragnarok happens, I think they're going to kill Thor, and they're going to bring Chick Thor in, or She Thor, whatever the fuck people are going to call it, even though that's not her name. Well, people are douchebags, right?
True, but I suppose they now have, what is it, 3 or 4 years to see whether that takes off before they can make that decision.
Well, because that's the thing is like they specifically did these things to undermine the diversity and everything from a business perspective to me, and then we have prominent names in comics like applauding it because it's something instead of the right thing. Whereas they could speak up and be like, "Yeah, this is nice, but it would be better if." Um, and in all that, I'm just happy that goddamn Thor girl, that's her name, Tareen. Okay. Um, happy that like somebody, even if it's only one person, Danny, is like, well, there's still no Asians. But I can name you at least one deaf and one blind superhero. So I'm
Can
happy
you?
about that. Yeah, Daredevil is blind. And Echo is actually a friend of Daredevil who's deaf.
Oh, right, I didn't know that.
She's a mimic. She can watch somebody do something, and then she can do it. If you're familiar with the Taskmaster, that was his power set as well. So but he used it for evil. So he'd watch like Captain America fight and Spider-Man, and then use their own moves against him. I think he even has a shield like Cap, if I remember correctly. But he was one of the guys, and this is why Young Avengers and Civil War and the Initiative would make such a great movie. They brought the Taskmaster in to be a drill sergeant for the Initiative movement in the comics. They were going to put like a superhero team in every state in the U.S. I think it was a five slot team. So they were finding all these young superheroes to train instead of dealing with the old cranky ones. So they'd like give the squads over to like Taskmaster. He'd kick their ass for a little bit and learn what they can do, and then he'd figure out how to train them to be better. Just because that's how he works. Oh man, I don't know. Now I want to go back and read Friggity Fraggity Thor Girl.
That would be a good title.
Well, no, I mean that's her character name. Or her character name's Tareen, but they call her Thor Girl. The other initiates do at least. But like it doesn't say anything past Fear itself in 2011 here on Wikipedia, but I really liked that character. What I really liked about her was like she had a weird crush on Thor, which I think was like the inspiration. That actually had this really weird language problem, but there was like the two gay kids in Young Avengers. It was Warlock, who dressed like an Asgardian. I think they called him that for a little bit. And then there was Hulkling, who's actually a Skrull. Spoilers, sorry. But so something happened where like he could shapeshift into Thor or something like that, and so like she ended up having like some kind of weird crush or something on. No, oh, I'm messing it up. I'm sorry. It was one of the other kids that did that like made her see Thor or something. So she was all impressed that he could summon Thor or whatever.
I see dead people. That's the sixth
one kid. Like okay, like you know, like governments like to throw rankings on things. Like this is a class 7, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like Hulk's like a class 8, right?
Okay.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen Agents of Shield. Like Hulk's like a class 8 threat or whatever. So there was like they had like a list of like level 7s that they had access to, and so they learned this one kid's power, which was for him to cause fear. Like this, he transformed. That's what it was. He transformed into whoever's greatest fear it was. Like, and what did you do, Charlie?
What do you mean?
Why do we have a third?
That's not me.
Okay. I'm going to finish this point. Uh, so like they put him as like a level 7, and they try to put him up against the Hulk to become the Hulk's greatest fear, and it turns out the Hulk doesn't fear anything. But this was after he got booted off Earth and took over another planet and came back on a spaceship, though. So we have an interesting thing happening here. I don't know who Lucas is. Give you a chance to speak up and identify yourself. Yeah, ... What are you doing, guy? I don't know what's going on.
I don't
I
know.
know he doesn't have a microphone.
No.
Yeah, that's not the point. How did you get in here?
The link was posted.
Where'd you post the link to? I posted the other link, like from... I thought I posted it from youtube.com/WeAreMovieClub.
How strange.
Yeah, I'm not happy about this. I mean, unless I copied the wrong thing, then stupid me. But you'd still have to go like to one of our things. Okay, that's the right link on the Facebook page. I don't know, maybe we should just continue on.
Yeah, carry on.
I don't know, I need to stop talking about comics. I do that all the time on here. But to me, it's a large genre of what is like what the movie world is, or it's becoming that, one of the two.
It's not going to stop me from watching it, though. Well, eventually watching it.
Sorry, I'm so preoccupied by this. You didn't
Well,
even put it out on Twitter, did you?
Well, I'll tell you what, we've been going for an hour and 10, so shall we
Yeah, we might as well.
move into the final phase, which is, what are we got in the pipes? That doesn't sound quite right, but you know what I mean.
Well, I've got a mystery to solve, but no, I just got edited and uploaded and everything, and it's not super good. And I tried to use the green screen for it for some reason, but I've got my How to Play Guillotine video up.
I saw that just as we were about to go on air, so I'll give that a watch at some point over the weekend.
So hopefully that catches on even half as well as the How to Play Munchkin video did, and that'll be something. I don't know. I want to do more of those, so I'm looking at what the next one's going to be, and I think I'm going to end up doing No, see, okay, so here's my problem, is there's a lot of games coming out, board games in the next couple months because of the holidays. So I think until I can get my hands on that stuff, I can't pick any of those games. So I've gotta find another one to do, and maybe that'll be it. I don't know. I gotta look at my options. But that's me. What you got coming up, Charlie?
Nothing. I don't know now. Basically just trying to keep up as much as I can. I'm actually in London tomorrow, so nothing will get done then. And then uni starts again. We had a week off this week. But I'm also trying to find work. So time is going to be ever shrinking, and then before you know it, it'll be Christmas. Oh God, Christmas.
Commercialism Day.
Yeah, that too.
Okay,
I still try and make it a family thing, but
hold on.
completely
Sorry,
agree.
you didn't hear that, did you?
Yeah, what?
Um, sorry, I googled Lucas Ferreira because that's the guy who came in, and again, no idea how, but apparently Lucas Ferreira is the name of some pop star.
It sounds a fairly common name anyway.
Yeah, just not happy. Okay, sorry. So
Sign out.
yeah. But I'm Kamurai. You can find my channels over here. I haven't been doing too many thoughts things, but I've been doing the weekly vlogs to try to keep up with that. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing weekly vlog or the thought process videos, because I think I can just take that time and do game stuff. Um, I think I want to start. I want to keep doing more of that, and I just think I don't have enough time to keep splitting my attention. You know.
You definitely sounded like you want to give those a backseat because of how much time they're taking. So
It's not a lot, but it's enough.
yeah,
So regardless, you can watch my stuff here. Go over to Gaming Division 528 to see the how to play Guillotine video. I've got my how to play Munchkin on there, some video let's plays, and then you can yell at me or us on the Twitters up here.
and on Charlie, you can see who I am there. You can see where to find me there and there. I feel a bit like an air hostess doing this. I've just realised, and I probably look a bit like I could fit in that kind of role as well. But thank you for watching. It's been a bit of a shorter one tonight, but that's because there's not really a great deal to talk about. If you want to get involved, then look at us on YouTube. You see We Are Movie Club right down here. Give that a bit of a look and see if you want to get involved. Please do, by all means. You know, we're always happy to have you. That's it for this week. So until next time, bye bye.
Bye.